Some of the most devastating weapons of the ancient world weren't forged by blacksmiths, whose hammers rang out in smoky workshops, but by the hands of those who shaped wood and stone with equal mastery. Instead, it was the carpenters and engineers, craftsmen who understood the secrets of timber, rope, and mechanics, who built the engines of destruction that would change the fate of cities and empires. The siege tower, a towering mobile fortress clad in wood and animal hide, was their masterpiece. It rolled relentlessly toward city walls, transforming the very idea of defense. What once seemed impenetrable became vulnerable, as these machines allowed armies to breach the highest ramparts. Before the advent of such machines, high stone walls were a city's ultimate safeguard, a symbol of security and power. But with siege towers, attackers could now go over, not just through or under, the defenses. Suddenly, the very walls that once protected became the stage for their downfall. The Babylonians, renowned for their ingenuity, mastered this art of siegecraft. Their engineers devised ways to systematically dismantle even the most formidable fortifications, using mathematics, observation, and relentless innovation. Sieges became complex, multi-layered operations. Sappers dug beneath walls to weaken them, while archers rained arrows from behind cover, and battering rams pounded relentlessly at the gates. Towering above all, the siege engine, especially the siege tower, became the ultimate symbol of military might and technological prowess. These machines were the centerpiece of Babylonian military doctrine, a clear and terrifying message to defenders that no wall, no matter how high or thick, was truly safe from determined attackers. The mere sight of a siege tower approaching the walls struck fear into the hearts of defenders, signaling not just the enemy's determination, but also their immense resources and organizational skill. Suddenly, the height of a wall became a liability, as these towers delivered disciplined troops directly onto the ramparts, bypassing moats and obstacles with chilling efficiency. The Babylonians perfected the use of siege towers as part of a sophisticated combined arms strategy, coordinating infantry, engineers, and archers to ensure their dominance across the ancient Near East. Their conquests, from Jerusalem to Lachish, were not just military victories but engineering triumphs. Each fallen city a testament to the power, ingenuity, and relentless ambition of the siege tower and its unexpected architects. A Babylonian siege tower was a multi-story wooden structure towering above the battlefield and designed to strike fear into the hearts of defenders. These formidable machines were feats of ancient engineering, representing the pinnacle of siege warfare technology in their era. Each tower was built on-site from local timber, requiring the labor of dozens of skilled carpenters and workers. The construction process was a massive undertaking, often taking weeks or even months to complete, and demanded careful planning and resource management. Its massive frame, mounted on large wheels, was pushed toward city walls by teams shielded from enemy fire. These wheels allowed the tower to roll slowly but steadily across rough terrain, while armored panels protected the soldiers inside from arrows and stones. The lower levels housed a battering ram, protected within the tower's frame, to hammer at the wall's base. This powerful weapon could break through even the thickest fortifications, making it a crucial part of any siege assault. Middle floors were packed with archers and slingers, firing from protected slits to suppress defenders. These marksmen provided covering fire, keeping enemy soldiers pinned down and unable to repel the advancing tower. The top platform, level with the city walls, featured a drawbridge for elite infantry to storm the battlements. Once in position, the drawbridge would drop, allowing attackers to pour directly onto the enemy ramparts and engage in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The entire structure was covered in wet animal hides, protecting it from flaming arrows. These hides acted as a primitive but effective fireproofing, soaking up water and preventing the wood from catching fire easily. Buckets of water were hauled up constantly to keep the hides damp and the tower fire-resistant. Soldiers worked tirelessly, even under attack, to ensure the tower remained protected from incendiary weapons. This fireproofing was essential for the tower's slow, perilous advance under constant attack. Without it, the entire structure could be set ablaze in moments, dooming the assault and the soldiers within. Building a siege tower was a feat of ancient engineering, a true testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of early civilizations. These massive machines were not just simple wooden structures, they were marvels of design, requiring careful planning and precise execution at every stage. Constructing one demanded mastery of physics, logistics, and materials, as well as the ability to coordinate large teams of skilled craftsmen and laborers. The tower needed a wide base and careful weight distribution to stay upright, especially as it moved across uneven ground toward enemy walls. Heavy components like the battering ram acted as ballast, stabilizing the structure and providing devastating force against fortifications. Mortise and tenon joints, secured with wooden pegs, held the massive frame together, allowing the tower to withstand both the stress of movement and the chaos of battle. Moving the tower required robust wheels and axles, engineered to bear immense weight and roll over rough terrain without failing. Often, a specially built siege ramp was constructed to bridge ditches and obstacles, allowing the tower to approach the city walls directly. The ramp itself was a major project, requiring thousands of tons of earth and stone, and the relentless effort of workers under constant threat. Constructed under enemy fire, the ramp was crucial for the tower's approach, and its completion often marked a turning point in the siege. The tower was a combined arms platform, battering ram below, archers in the middle, and assault troops above, each level designed for a specific role in the attack. This forced defenders to split their focus, dividing their forces and attention between multiple threats at once. Unable to counter all threats at once, defenders often found themselves overwhelmed and outmaneuvered. Each tower was custom-built for its target, with engineers adapting the design to the specific challenges of each fortress. Towers were tailored to wall height, defensive features, and the surrounding terrain, ensuring maximum effectiveness. Scouts and engineers surveyed defenses, mapping out weak points and planning the best approach for the siege tower. Builders then checked measurements on site, making adjustments to ensure the tower was perfectly suited for the siege ahead. This adaptability and meticulous planning often overwhelmed opponents, leaving them with little time to react or adapt. The result was that Babylonian sieges became nearly unstoppable, a testament to the engineering genius and relentless determination of their creators. The psychological impact of a siege tower began long before it reached the walls. Its construction, visible to the besieged, was a daily reminder of impending doom. Each day the tower grew taller, a looming threat that eroded morale and convinced many that resistance was futile. In an age of low buildings, a 50-foot tower was a terrifying sight, dominating the skyline. The Babylonians knew that breaking the defenders' will was as important as breaking their walls. The sounds of construction, hammering, sawing, shouting, created relentless anxiety inside the city. When the tower finally advanced, tension peaked after weeks of dread. The tower symbolized Babylonian superiority, making defenders question their own strength. More than a weapon, it was an argument for inevitable victory, built from timber, iron, and fear. Deploying a siege tower was the climax of a coordinated military operation. The tower's advance was shielded by a storm of arrows and slingstones from hundreds of archers and slingers. This covering fire forced defenders to keep their heads down, clearing a path for the tower. Simultaneously, other siege engines and sappers attacked elsewhere, stretching the defenders thin. The multi-pronged assault confused and overwhelmed the city's defenders. Once the tower reached the wall, its battering ram pounded the base while archers fired at point-blank range. At the signal, the drawbridge dropped, and elite infantry surged onto the battlements. Their goal, secure a foothold and allow more troops to follow. The siege's outcome often hinged on these first frantic minutes atop the wall. The siege of Lachish by Nebuchadnezzar's forces in 587 BC is a prime example of Babylonian siegecraft. Lachish was a formidable fortress, second only to Jerusalem, and its capture was vital. Archaeologists have uncovered a massive siege ramp at the site, built by Babylonians to move their towers into position. The defenders responded with a counter-ramp, raising their own walls in a desperate race for height. This engineering duel revolved around the struggle for vertical dominance. Ultimately, the Babylonian superior machines and tactics prevailed. The tower reached the wall, the drawbridge dropped, and soldiers stormed the ramparts. The fall of Lachish was a textbook victory, meticulous engineering, and the unstoppable siege tower in action. The fall of Nineveh in 612 BC marked the end of the Assyrian Empire and Babylon's rise. In a twist of fate, the Babylonians and their allies used siege towers, the Assyrians' own invention, against them. Nineveh's massive walls were legendary, but the besiegers combined environmental tactics and siegecraft to breach them. Flooding weakened a section of wall, and siege towers were moved into position at the breach. The towers provided the height needed to overcome the defenses, allowing attackers to pour in. For the Assyrians, seeing their own methods turned against them was a devastating blow. The fall of Nineveh symbolized Babylon's mastery of siege warfare and the end of an era. The Babylonian siege tower cast a long shadow over military history. Its core principles, height, covering fire, and battering rams, became the template for siege towers for centuries. Greeks and Romans built upon this foundation, creating even larger and more sophisticated towers. The Helepolis and Roman Turris ambulatoria were direct descendants, used in famous sieges like Masada. Even in the Middle Ages, siege towers remained remarkably similar in design and function. Only the advent of gunpowder and cannons made them obsolete. For over 2 millennia, the moving fortress was one of the most decisive weapons in siege warfare. The Babylonian siege tower is a testament to the power of engineering in warfare. It marked a turning point where technology and planning became as crucial as bravery. Sieges became methodical, scientific operations, project management on a grand scale. The principles behind the siege tower, overcoming defenses with mobile elevation and protected firepower, are timeless. Modern military tactics still echo these ancient innovations. The spirit of the siege tower lives on in today's armored vehicles and assault strategies. The ruins of Lachish and Nineveh remind us of the relentless ingenuity of ancient engineers. The study of these machines offers a window into the minds that shaped history, and their legacy endures.